dev meetup organizer, or if you are just a member, whether you're wanting to start a meetup or expand and grow your meetup, or just know about meetups, you've come to the right place. Welcome.
Yes, Manette. Today we're diving into the real experience of community leaders who have built and grown their own ServiceNow meetups. You'll hear honest insights, challenges, and tips to help you get started and get involved.
Perfect. So let's start with introducing ourselves. I am Manette Esparcia. I'm the founder of Pretty Solutions. I just got my ServiceNow MVP this year because ServiceNow, and I'm very passionate about growing our ServiceNow community in our area, and I'm also very passionate about helping others grow their communities too.
My name's Glenn Chason. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, the West Coast. My current role is I'm a practice manager at RSM on the Canadian team. And like Manette, I'm an MVP. This is my second year returning, so I was an MVP in 2024, and I'm returning to the program in 2025.
And just to mention, being a meetup organizer, for those of you who want to start one, is one of their criteria. So you might want to start one for MVPs. All right, so let's start with introducing our panelists. First off, we have Martin Ivanov. He is the solutions architect at Initum. Did I pronounce that correctly, Martin? Initum? Okay, perfect. And he's a 4-time ServiceNow MVP. And he is the organizer and founder of the Bulgaria Developer Meetup.
Next on the list, we have Jerry Wong. The blue jacket, everyone knows Jerry, right? If you don't, then you need to. Jerry's a certified product owner at the University of Birmingham. He is also a ServiceNow MVP in 2025. And last year in 2024, he was a skyrocketing rising star. Jerry is the co-organizer of the ServiceNow London Meetup and longtime community member.
And we have Sydney James. Sydney in the middle there. She's a full-stack developer at Discovery Partners Institute. She's a Rise Up alumna, and she is currently reviving the Chicago meetup. If anyone's from here, from Chicago, that was the meetup that was active in the past, became dormant. So if there's a meetup in your area that's dormant, it's the chance for you to revive it, and that's what Sydney's doing.
Before we dive in, just a reminder, we'll save time at the end for questions, so jot them down if you have them, and we'll answer them after the panel. Those who, if we have any meetup organizers in the audience, would also love to hear your thoughts and tips and insights too.
All right, let's start with our first question, and let's kick it off with why. Martin, why did you start the Bulgaria meetup? What got you started, and what was the community around your area at that time?
So I've been with the community for quite some time. When I saw an announcement for the Pure Meetup, so in India, it was back in COVID, so it was all online. I decided to apply, and they approved my session. But after the session, I got a tremendously good feedback from both the organizers and the Meetup members. But that was not the highlight. The highlight for me was I saw how the people get together, people who share the same passion, they are having time, they're playing games, they're chatting about ServiceNow, they're chatting about things outside ServiceNow, and I thought, what if I have such a thing in my country, which was not present up at that time, and this is how it started.
That's perfect. That's an inspirational story of one meetup in Pune, right? One meetup in Pune, they invited you as a speaker, and then that inspired you to start your own.
Yes, exactly.
That's perfect. Okay.
Next question is for Sydney. Sydney, you've revived the Chicago chapter very recently. Were you involved when it was active before? Were you able to reuse the meetup group? What were your biggest challenges in reviving it?
So the Chicago Developer Meetup actually went in 2018, 2019. So that was before my time in the ServiceNow ecosystem. So I was not able to reuse it. So I am starting from scratch. And what was that last question again?
So the last question was, what were the biggest challenges?
The challenges, absolutely. So the challenge with restarting and reviving essentially is getting the word out again, as well as trying to find a space because there's not a ton of funding for this, as well as trying to essentially bring in speakers. So essentially, anything that you would think about when you think of organizing events is kind of the challenges that we run into.
Okay, yeah, that's good luck with the challenges. It will get easier.
Opportunities too, but
Yeah.
that was our challenges.
Okay, Jerry, you were a member before you became an organizer, if I've understood it correctly, but you can correct me. Looking back at your early days, what made you think, oh, this community is for me?
So I've always been involved in a community that says belonging. So part of a community that I helped develop was the higher education community. So it was a higher education community, which then obviously led to me that I looked within the service now community, okay, what other developer meetups or what other meetups were available? So I saw there was developer meetups, so because I'm not a developer, I'm a platform owner, but I work alongside developers. So is it right for me to attend? So I attended one of those developer meetups and I really enjoyed it because you actually got to hear and work alongside the developers on how they thought, their thought process. Also, I'm able to share my own experience from working with developers as well as how I can take that back to the organization as well.
Yeah, so did I get that right? You are not a developer, but then you joined the developer meetup and found it valuable.
I did.
Okay, so if anyone here is not a developer, or you know someone who's not a developer but wants to join a community, that's actually a really great point. Our meetup, we call it ServiceNow Developer Meetup in Vancouver, but it's 50% developers, 50% is all across the board, any role, and even just like people that are just interested in ServiceNow. So you don't really need to be a developer to be part of a dev meetup. So thank you, Jerry, for raising
So,
this.
yeah, it's an important point because it says it's developer in the name. You don't want to be putting people off from attending.
Absolutely.
Just on that same point, on purpose, I didn't name mine the developer meetup, but it's a ServiceNow meetup Bulgaria, just to have the people like from the business analysis, even some customers, why not? So people who are involved with the ServiceNow ecosystem are all invited to come.
Absolutely, yeah. For those starting a meetup, it's a good point to not call it a developer meetup so that the non-developers will not get discouraged from joining. Thank you.
Martin, you already have the mic, and the next question's for you. So when did you host your first event? What steps did you take? Planning, location, promoting it?
Well, yeah, this was, as I mentioned, just after my participation in Pune, so it was the COVID, I think it was the winter of 23. And I started thinking how to get the kids running. So one thing that I did was I contacted Tenby, who is running the meetup program from ServiceNow. But I also had to tackle the challenge how to gather a big amount of people for the first event, which was not popular at that time. And as you might think, my first choice was Czech Tomazi. And because of the time distance between Bulgaria and the United States, he was not able to attend in person. And I invited him to attend actually online, and we did the first edition online. But after that, the COVID was down, so I decided to bring it back in person, which was the initial idea behind the meetups. And now we are having quite a good attendance of like around 25, 30 people, which is from my region is a lot.
That's awesome. Chuck Tomasi came in person.
Now in person, online.
Okay.
This is what I said because
Okay, sorry.
it was
Because Bulgaria is far. Yes, but just to add to that, actually, our Vancouver meetup, we struggled so much for attendees. For a while, we only had 5, 10. It was really a struggle. So, what did we do? Invite Chuck Tomasi. Well, Chuck's already retired, but the clue there for you is find people like dev advocates that are popular, or any speakers that are popular. Dante's popular, actually. You can invite him, or someone popular with a lot of following, to come and speak, and if they're far away, they could do virtual, and that will really bring in people. That was very successful for us. So yeah, we have the same experience.
Check is not there, but if you double the rate, he'll come.
Actually, he will come to Vancouver in May, so he will still come. You just reach out to him. Okay, perfect. Sorry, okay, Sydney, your very first event of reviving the Chicago meetup was just last week, right? How did that go? How did you spread the word on that?
So last Thursday was the first event, and it was a small but mighty group. We had fun. Glenn came and supported, which helped me as a developer. Since I had a couple nerves, but I essentially spread the word by taking a more personable approach. I reached out to folks individually and invited them personally and said, from my network, hi, we've connected over XYZ. I would love to see you, at this meetup. And so we had we had a lot of people sign up in RSVP, and maybe about a third actually came. And then the folks that did come, I called them our refounding members. And so really just emphasized that it didn't matter that the group started off small, that I love that they were there. And again, we had fun with what we had.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Like starting small is not a problem. It's not a problem.
It's actually better to start off small.
Yeah.
You can always scale later.
Thanks, Sydney. And as Sydney just mentioned, she just started. So if you look at the slide deck up here on the right, if you're unaware, there's been a new section. So right on the community homepage, if you're looking over on the left-hand side, there's a new section there for developer meetups. So to start one, I've got that green arrow there highlighting that Learn More button. And if you click that, it'll bring up the form over on the right where you can apply, and it will go to, actually, I believe it goes to Tanvi, who's at the back of the room, to then make a decision whether that's a suitable area for a meetup to occur. Because, it may not be if it's a very, very small little city, or maybe one is only a half hour away. But that's how you do that if you're interested in starting. Brand new, I think they just launched that new community section right before Christmas. Very new. Jerry, the next question I have is for you. You run one of the most active and successful chapters on the planet, the London Meetup. How many attendees do you usually have? I've heard that you sometimes even hit capacity. How do you decide who can attend? Is there any plans to expand?
It's a very good question. Okay, in terms of our capacity, we do subscribe. What we do see is first time, first come, but we also look at the venue capacity as well. Sometimes finding a venue is quite difficult and quite challenging. Sometimes service now offices can provide that capacity. So I want to also just make your point about it's quite successful. I've only just recently joined, but I know Camilla in the crowd is also one of the co-organizers. So I want to say thank you to the team as well.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, that's very interesting because I think all of us in North America are thinking of, how do we invite more people? But meanwhile, London is how do we turn away people? Because there's just so many. And I've heard in India, most of the meetups there are also hitting capacity because there's just so many people. So if there are people from India here, maybe give us your tips on how to invite more people. All right. Okay, Martin, we were just asking Sydney earlier about the challenges. What challenges have you encountered when organizing events, and how have you solved them, if you have solved them?
Before going to the challenges, we need to highlight that ServiceNow and we are providing the full support for the teams that are in there. We're doing it, but also we as the organizers have to tackle some stuff, so the venue, the gathering, all the stuff. The most difficult part for me is to find the speakers because of some, I don't know, I know a lot of people in my country who have tons of experience, they can share that, but they are somehow not willing to do it, and this is a culture that I'm willing to change with organizing the meetup. So it's happening. Somehow I'm going to beg the people that I know that are knowledgeable And so now I'm still able to find people. I hope that it's going to get easier in the future, but this is my biggest challenge.
Okay, good to know. That's a very unique challenge. In most areas, people are like, me, I want to speak, I want to speak, I want to share my knowledge. So maybe if people have encountered the same issue where people do not want to share knowledge, you could chat with Martin and your advice if you've solved that. I also just want to acknowledge Tanvi. If Tanvi can stand at the back, Tanvi is the powerhouse behind the global meetups. She is the person. And if you want to start a meetup, get connected with her. She's probably very busy during knowledge, so connect with her on LinkedIn or ask for her email. She's probably like, don't connect with me now. No, she's so busy right now. But connect with her. She's really the powerhouse behind the global meetups, and she's in charge of that. So she can help you start. And obviously, all of us here, the panelists, and we will help you just connected with us. Okay, all right, I see.
And I'll just reiterate that. Tanvi, thank you for everything that you do for us. Sydney, next question's for you. What are your biggest lessons learned so far? We know it's only a week, but what are they? I'm sure you have some. What's your strategy to turn first-time attendees into regulars?
So I really have a build it and they will come mentality. So just by me starting it and getting the word out, I'm sure it'll grow. But there is strategy behind retaining the folks that are already engaged while still trying to grow it. And that really just looks like having different points of entry. So being at a place like Knowledge, speaking, using social media to get the word out. Also asking very directly for people who are already involved to also spread the word. And I've also connected with folks that are outside of Chicago that are still in my network. So when they come across someone in Chicago, they'll say, hey, have you spoken with Sydney? She's starting a meetup, or there's going to be a meetup. So there's just a lot of different points that I try to make sure I hit so that this can be sustainable. I want it to be around for a while.
Perfect, that's great. All right, actually, before I ask the next question, who here has never attended a meetup? Can you raise your hand? Who here has never? Oh, that's fantastic. You'll have more stuff to know about how to attend it. So this question's for Jerry because he was a member of a meetup before organizing. What do you say to people who have never attended a meetup?
So I think firstly you can find information about ServiceNow Developer Meetup within the ServiceNow community page. In terms of my advice for everyone that wants to attend, just do it. Just attend. For me, I had so much fun, and everyone is so welcoming and able to share that knowledge. So that's all I would share in terms of that advice.
Perfect. Yes, so just for everyone here, if you don't know if there's already a meetup in your area, you could just search the LinkedIn. I don't know if there's a slide for it. Maybe not. Okay, but okay.
I actually was going to add to that because, so for example, like I never joined a meetup or attended a meetup before I started, and so you don't actually have to have attended one before. But what I did do is that I attended the ServiceNow user group to at least get connected to the community. So if you already have a snug, I would start there.
So on this, if you look at the slide deck and that big giant green arrow, so again, I have the brand new section. If you notice, highlighted that green at the top of the screen. So if you're on the ServiceNow community page, and I hope everyone knows about the ServiceNow community page, I assume. If you don't, that's what it looks like. But you'll see the green arrow underneath the connect there where you see developer meetups. And then there's a screen where you can select what region of the globe that you're in, like America, Europe. And then what you'll see as an example over on the right-hand side here, I'm showing the AMS developer meetups. So that's what you're seeing there. So this answers your question. This is how you actually find it.
Perfect. Thank you, Glenn. All right, Martin, what does a typical event agenda look like for you? What feedback have you gotten from the attendees that keeps them coming back?
So I'm running the meetup usually on the work days after the work hours. So I choose that as my successful pattern will be to have just one session and then do the networking after that. So we have some catering which is covered by ServiceNow, and we do the session like half an hour to a full hour. We get the Q&A, and afterwards we gather in a separate place with the gathering, just chat about ServiceNow and all that stuff. And this second part, of course, the sessions are always interesting, but this second part is what brings the people more and more to the meetup, not just to repeat their attendance, but also to bring some friends next
Right,
time.
you're meaning the networking part is what really brings them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I find that too.
Jerry, is the community engaging outside of your developer meetups? Are there any chat groups or side gatherings that occur?
So not at the moment, but that is something we are considering in the future. That's something the team will be looking at. I just want to just add that whilst myself and Camilla, we've just recently joined the Guild, so we are looking to expand the team, but also having more of that engagement perspective because I know we do have our meetups, which is the platform of how we organise the events. I'm hoping we can also look at the other avenues that we can have that engagement there with our community.
Right, and you do have a female only, right? Spin-off. So that's for everyone too. If your females don't feel so, they want their own little things, you could have a tiny spin-off like what Famela's leading and they're leading and all that. Okay, so that we can go to questions soon, I just want to ask the three of you, what would be your top advice to those wanting to start a meetup or to attend one?
So my advice is, if you want to start a dev meetup, you need to be committed, but also you are a facilitator, but it's also about engaging with others within the community to be able to share experiences, because the important is not to share what you're doing, you're going to inspire others as well, to be able to take that forward. If you're not going to share with each other, then there is no sense of belonging in the community.
So I decided to revive the Chicago Developer Meetup because it's what I wanted. So build what you want to see would be my biggest piece of advice, as well as start off small. Take your time, get some good support behind you, and just have fun with it. It should be fun.
So my advice would be don't try to invent the hot water. It's all of us who are already running the meetups, attending the meetups. You have the support from ServiceNow. Just chat to someone or to a bunch of people. Ask about the lessons learned, make your plan and execute it. Simple.
It's amazing. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of people that have built successful meetups already, so you could just connect with them and just ask them. Like all of us here are willing to help everyone, and there's Stanley, and there's so many meetup organizers all over the world. You could ask questions about how to, where's the money coming from and all that. There's a lot of those resources.
Can I add to that what Martin said about not reinventing the wheel? So also ask your fellow community members, so the people in your area, what they would like to see. You don't have to come up with it by yourself.
Absolutely.
The community.
Absolutely.
Like you said, we want to leave a few minutes for questions. So I'd like to thank all of our panelists. Now let's open the floor for a few quick audience questions. If you have any, even like we said, if you're a Dev Meetup host, currently in the audience, if you have any advice to share, your own experience, we'd love to hear that too.
Okay, Dante, you have a question?
I need to know, how do you get the engagement? I think the question was on the floor. Me being in Charlotte Meetup, online is key. So for me, what I'm trying to do is get more people to come. They say they're going to come. They don't come. So I think you touched on it, but if you could touch on it just briefly, how do you get, I guess, Jerry, London? I'll ask you, London. What do you do? Is it food? What is it?
Definitely the food. I love food. I mean, when I attend the meetup, I think first one I attended was at the London Documents Museum. But also we had our advocate developers also attend, which obviously brought me along. But I think if you time it right as well, so if you got any world forums or any ServiceNow user groups at the same time, try and schedule at the same time because sometimes we're all very busy in our day-to-day working lives. So just have a look at the right timings. And also, socialize it on social media as well, LinkedIn.
Thank you, Jerry.
I can add to that. Try to execute your meetups the best possible way. Try to keep your existing audience engaged, and they're going to spread the word, I promise you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to just quickly add to that one too. In Vancouver, we have a chat group, and that WhatsApp chat group really makes everyone engaged because they kind of like connect even outside of the meetup, and that really helps. So just also we asked several times on LinkedIn, please RSVP. But we did actually also ask the members, and they said they like the swag that they get and the foods.
I was going to say I had feedback that someone liked the prizes, so that helps.
Oh, prizes, yes, they love that.
Like
Yeah.
the trivia game.
And there are, for those that are starting a meetup, you could actually connect with Candy on that because ServiceNow do give you swags to give out. All right, any other questions or advice?
So my question is, from all the meetups you've done, what's one of the biggest success stories you've got from somebody who attended that wasn't, the facilitator, but anybody else that was part of the session that they got value out of it, they brought back to the organization or even to their studies or career?
Hi, Xavier. I mean, the first step meetup I visited was obviously at the Earl in Decay visited. So we had a lot of games around discoveries of AI. Some of that learnings I took back to my organisation. Also, again, I think it's important for that support from the dev advocates because that really kind of, they care about what ServiceNow are selling. So, if we can demonstrate, for me, it's about demonstrating that value rather than, sometimes ServiceNow is just a sales, it's selling. So, something that we can demonstrate, that we can see, feel, touch, and we can spread that back to others.
Maybe a piece of advice here. So, complex sessions and complex stuff is always interesting, but what makes it more successful is to deliver things that are closer to the people, things that they can incorporate in their daily lives immediately. And an example here is my session that I did with the film media. Back at that time, I was developing heavily, and I was using SEO tools heavily. So my session was on how to make your life as a developer easier and save time. And I got a tremendous engagement. Like I had 200 invited on LinkedIn the next day.
So just looking at the time here, we want to wrap this up. So I'll leave this slide up. But if you're interested in connecting with us, just come on up and scan our QR codes there, and we'll get connected on LinkedIn. So again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Stay curious, stay connected, and hopefully we'll see you at a meetup soon. Bye, everyone.